Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. After 10 years of working in digital media, I have learned a lot, and it has helped me decide how I want to spend my next few years. If you're just finding this channel, hello, my name is Brandon Davis. My friends call me BD. I spent the last 10 years of my life working at a digital media outlet. From late 2014 through 2024, I was traveling the world, interviewing filmmakers, attending Comic-Cons, all that. It was really a dream job type thing that I helped build for myself and for the brand. I was there in its very early days, which was quite an experience, and it was very different by the end how it was, compared to how it was in the beginning. And when that company sold, I stopped working there, and I had a decision to make, or in fact, decisions to make. And in large part, I've made those decisions, and there will be more, there will be changes and stuff, but at least for now, I have an idea of where I am and where I'm going. I've made that decision based on things I learned from working in the entertainment media industry, the changing climates of algorithms and social media, personal interests and goals and things like that. So I figured I'd hop on here, talk about it, share some of this journey with you guys as we go, about just where I'm at, where I'm going, how I'm getting there. And if that makes you want to subscribe and follow along with this journey, thank you, please do. First of all, the two biggest things I learned while working in media is that A, I have a lot more to learn, and B, you never really get a chance to fully clock out. It's very rare. To that first point, you have to constantly be learning when you're working in media. You have to learn about the subjects you're discussing. You really have to be an expert. If you're not, people will know immediately. And I don't just mean the viewers, they will, but the people you're interviewing will know. I once asked an actor who I became friends with, if somebody hasn't watched the show, can you tell when they're interviewing you that they haven't? Yes, immediately. That's what they said. And I was like, oh God, I never want that to be me. And sure enough, at some point, that has been me. Comic-Con days are tough. You're doing 14 different interviews over the course of 8 hours. You can't watch everything when you find out about that schedule 3 days before, the interviews, but I try my best to know what I'm talking about or ask for help when I don't. Another thing, you have to learn what works in headlines and on social media, and those are things that are always changing and shifting. So that's just something you have to always be learning, and just how to phrase things, how to write things, how to ask questions. You got to look at the people around you and what they're doing, what people are doing better than you, and learn how to do your version of those things, and constantly just improve yourself. And you have to learn how to balance all of that and create good headlines and create good social media content without ever being unprofessional or the person that other people don't want in the room. You got to be authentic, you got to be yourself, and you just really just have to be a decent person. And you have to maximize your reach. So that means taking advantage of all the tools that are at our disposal in 2025. That means social media. That means knowing the Google algorithms. That means networking at events that you get invited to. All those things are very important. I've also learned there's not a ton of money in digital media. If you get really lucky, you might get paid for a while. That was me. But being an independent content creator also presents opportunities to make a lot of money and have ownership over what you're doing. So that's what I'm kind of leaning towards. You can't be motivated purely by money to create content, to interview people, to do those things, but certainly if you're making it your living, it's going to be a factor. And the content creator game is certainly where money seems to be shifting towards, very interestingly. And it's just made me believe I could do some of what I was doing for the past 10 years independently, and also sometimes more authentically. And to that second point from earlier, the work just really never stops. If you want to be a content creator, if you want to be a reporter, a host, a producer, you have to have your finger on the pulse all the time. You have to know what's happening, what's being said, when it's being said. If your job is the news, you have to be first. And if you're not first, it's irrelevant. Twitter, Google algorithms, Instagram, TikTok, there will be a million things written and recorded and posted within an hour, all the time. If the news is worth covering in a big geek media space, so you gotta be aware all the time. Be willing to work on Friday night when Aaron Couch drops a scoop, or on 6 a.m. when GMA drops a trailer, or on a random Thursday when a studio says, "We need you in New Orleans tomorrow. Can you be there?" You got to be able to up and go, which is not something everybody can do by any stretch. But back when I made a video explaining why I left the site I was working at, I said, I'm going to see what doors open for me, and I might just build a new door. And that's kind of what I've been doing. So let's talk about where I'm going. And I want to share 3 professional goals that I have. One is to wrestle on television. Yes, that is completely irrelevant to this video, but I want to say it out loud because I want to take wrestling more seriously, and I want people in the wrestling world to take me more seriously. So if I say it here and I speak it into existence, I'll feel like a self-imposed pressure to go conquer the wrestling world as best I can in 2025. 2, I've started consulting and doing some hosting and interview work and just brand management for that hashtag show. I want to help them improve their brand. I like the people who work there. I want to help them with their reach. I want to amplify their channels and their opportunities. And they're paying me nicely to do so, and I'm grateful for that. And they're also giving me the freedom to do things outside of that hashtag show entirely. I can do whatever I want, and that is really important to me. And I'm never going to try to take advantage of that. I'm going to help them as best I can because they're helping me. So my third goal is to take Phase Hero to the moon. I want to take this as far as it can possibly go, and I want to launch new shows and new projects, but Phase Hero is the one that I've launched so far, and I want to make it as big as it can possibly be. Phase Hero is a podcast I launched in October right here on this channel. It's Jenna Anderson, Jamie Jirac, Aaron Perrine, and myself yapping about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, movies, TV, everything that we find interesting. We will talk about it. Awards. If we like it, if we care about it, if you care about it, we'll talk about it. We are beholden to our audience, but I think that we are the target audience. So if we find it interesting, that means the people who are listening probably will too. It's honestly been a very interesting endeavor, and I've learned a lot about business from this. I've had to form a business. I've had to promote this thing, grow it, and it's been fairly successful, all things considered, honestly, to a degree that it has surprised me. It's growing week after week on the audio downloads. We're getting opportunities, and I launched it despite getting offers to meet with and launch shows for other media outlets and companies because I didn't want to spend 10 more years just kind of spinning my wheels in place and for another brand in any way. I may regret it one day, but I'm kind of trying to bet on myself for as long as I can and see how far I can take this thing while having ownership of it, and then at the end having this thing I built instead of 10 years from now. Hopefully I saved my money and I'm out and have nothing to take with me other than maybe some social media followers. Am I going to make the kind of money I made in 2024 in 2025? Definitely not. I was getting paid really well at my last job. I'm not going to be shy about that. I was getting paid really well. I was very fortunate. I worked my ass off to earn that. I played a huge part in building that brand and its relationships, and I got paid really well for that. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the people who saw that value in me. And now I have to bet on myself and work myself to a point where hopefully I can make that and more. And I do believe that's very achievable. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a very different lifestyle, but we'll see what happens. I'm grateful that, that hashtag show sees value in me to help them build their brand up and amplify their content and their talent and be a part of it as well, while also building my own brand outside of it. I think it's awesome they're letting me do that, and I'm tremendously grateful. I am a big believer that media and the way it's consumed is shifting to personalities and content creators because people want authenticity. They want a person. They want a face. They want a personality. And I think that's happening in a major way. And while true journalism itself shouldn't and won't ever be going anywhere, I think there is a really big opportunity right now to own your media rather than give it all away to a bigger company. And I'm fortunate to be in a position right now where I feel like I can take a crack at doing that and making my own content and having ownership of it. I'm paying Jenna, Jamie, and Aaron for their work on Phase Hero, for showing up for the podcasts and for the other work they're doing. I also have other expenses with that. I'm paying a thumbnail artist. I'm paying for the PhaseHero.com domain name. I have a StreamYard subscriptions. I have Adobe subscriptions. I have online store subscriptions. There's just a whole bunch of things and costs that add up more quickly than I thought they would. So that's been kind of interesting to explore and try to figure out how I'm going to make that work for myself. But we're crossing these bridges as we get to them, and I'm fortunate to be in a position where I can. And I would really like to get to a point where we can have dedicated video editors and make higher quality content. But I think you just got to grow the thing until you're at a point where that makes sense. I've also thought about rebranding this channel to call it Phase Hero, but I want to maintain my identity as a content creator, and I think having my name on the channel might be of value from a marketing perspective. I've also thought about taking PhaseHero.com and turning it into a full-blown media outlet and having articles on the site in addition to the videos and merch that's up there. But I just don't plan to do that right now. I'm not particularly interested in managing a media outlet. I like Phase Hero as a media outlet as it stands, as a podcast, as social media channels, and I'm grateful for the opportunities that we've been getting. I do know that influencers are also getting like fat bags of money for doing junkets. There are paid slots at junkets. I've never been paid by a studio to do an interview, but I find it interesting that sometimes an influencer can show up to a junket that the press goes to and they can get paid for it. Now, here's the difference. The press has a full-time job or a freelance salary from the outlet they work for. The content creator then is working probably for the third-party marketing company that hired them to do the interview or the other content at the junket. And it's interesting because I think a lot of that stuff that they post does well on social media. There's no doubt about it. And it grows their channels while they're getting paid just to do it in the first place. So I've never been paid to do an interview. Will it happen? I'm not going to say no. It's never going to happen. I hope that my reach can be of value, but I'm grateful as hell to be going to junkets where I'm just getting time with talent in a way that's allowing me to grow my channel, to talk authentically about a project. And if I ever do get, you'll know. It will be disclosed. It has to be disclosed that, you're getting paid to do this. It's an ad. There's opportunities for partnerships on Face Hero. Old Spice, you want me to talk about your deodorant on Face Hero? Let me know. And honestly, I think that the content creator game and that space is really eating into the digital media journalism space. And I think there's a whole video I could make about that if you're interested in it, because the content creator revolution, the wave is far from over. And there are entire junkets that are happening that are just influencers. There are no journalists, just entirely full of influencers. And I actually find it just to be really interesting. But those things considered make me say I should just go the independent route and just keep all of my options open and do the things I enjoy and find ways to make money off them and just be as authentic as I can in the content that I make. And since I left the outlet I was working for, there have been junkets that I haven't gotten a spot at. And they've bummed me out. Captain America: Brave New World is the first MCU movie that I haven't been able to go to the junket for in 9 years, since 2016. And that absolutely sucks. But it's a competitive slot. Disney and Marvel have been super helpful and honest and open, and they're working with me. Like, I'm going to the Captain America Brave New World premiere. I did interviews for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. We did that junket. I've got Daredevil coming up, and the director of Cap 4 is going to be on Phase Hero. So it's interesting. It's obviously feels like I took steps backwards because I don't have the backing of a major outlet, but I have enough of a following, enough of a relationship, enough of the trust of the people who have worked with me that they will still give me time where they can. And that has been hugely encouraging when it is successful, and even encouraging when it's not, because you just have to say, all right, well, we're going to earn it. I'm going to get back there. And we're going to build the channel. We're going to build TikTok and YouTube and all that stuff to the point that it's obvious I should be in that seat doing this interview if I want to be there. And I really hope that I can do Mission Impossible and Sinners and Superman and F1 and How to Train Your Dragon. And I'm hoping a partnership with IMAX can happen or something like that, while working my ass off to bring content that is authentic and real and good. And we'll see what happens. I've considered moving to LA, selling my house, and I don't really want to because I own a house here. I'm getting tired of flying around, but I have considered just up and moving to LA because I'd be at an event every night. That would obviously help my channels grow. I just don't think people really want to see pictures of me on a red carpet. Sure, I feel cool posting that, but I don't think that's what people follow me for. You guys want to see the unboxings, the interviews, the opinions, and I get that. I've also considered, as explained in another video, just throwing all this away and doing like a normal job and just going back to watching movies in the theater when they come out. But the thing is, I love this stuff. Like, I'm addicted to being able to see things I'm looking forward to early. I really enjoy talking about things and seeing a video that I post perform really well. Being able to go into YouTube and see views go up and see revenue generate and just know that I'm paying my friends to do a podcast. I really enjoy that, and I take a lot of pride in that. Phase Hero has merch all around the world. That is so cool. And those moments keep me in this at least for a few more years, unless something changes. And I'm incredibly grateful that I'm in a position to be able to do this. I hope, a few years from now, this channel has 1 million subscribers, and one day I can just piss off and retire and feel good about having built something and hand it over to someone else and let them run it and, just live happily ever after, because I am almost ready for the ever after. I want a life outside of this. I just want people and time and things like that, but I still love the work, and I just want to keep doing it and enjoying it. And I'm grateful for those of you who support it and make this weird dream alive. So if you need me, You can find me right here on this channel. You can find my work, my vision, and stuff like that on that hashtag show's site and socials. And you can find me in a wrestling ring near you, hopefully soon. Maybe there's a video about that I need to make in the future too. If you guys want to hear about the wrestling journey, let me know. But your continued support and interest and subscriptions and anything at all that you've done to be a part of this journey is tremendously appreciated. I thank you so much. So please continue to subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends and all that. And, I'm BD, and I will see you in the next video, everybody. Later.